What are the best sports Rolexes to buy from the AD right now? For context, I have to buy a 2024 root beer from Manchester today, and it got me thinking, that watch was almost £25,000 2 years ago, and now it's close to retail. That got me then thinking about other sports Rolexes, and what are the good purchases to make from the AD. Let's talk about it. To make it interesting, I'm gonna pick 3 steel watches, and also 3 gold watches, and also one very special watch at the end. So stick around. I know you know what I'm about to say, and it's absolutely no surprise whatsoever, but the Panda Daytona is the first watch that I'm going to talk about here in the steel options. So the steel Daytona Panda, or even the Black Dial, absolutely, they're incredible watches. They're trading still above 10k over list, and interestingly, this watch was, over £40,000 a couple of years ago, maybe close to 50k, but they're still trading over list. And they look great. It's a sporty watch, it's a classy watch, and also it can be worn with a variety of different outfits, from very casual, sporty look, all the way to dressed up, wearing a suit at a function. So what a versatile watch. Absolutely deserves to be mentioned as the first steel watch. The second steel watch is something you might not expect me to say. It's a Sky Dweller. And I'm going to say the mint green dial. I think for the longest time the blue dial was the popular Sky Dweller of choice, but now as a new release, I think 2 years ago now, was it? The mint green came out, and it's been the most popular watch. So for resale you might be getting about 5k-ish over list, because it's a very, very complicated watch. It is a little bit bigger. It's a 42mm watch, and it's a little bit chunkier because it's got that extra levels of complication. The Sky Dweller is an interesting one. It will tell you the time, it will tell you the date, it will tell you a second time zone, and it will also tell you the month in the year, hence why it's a little bit chunkier. It has extra layers of movement that you need to compact into the Rolex case. The third steel watch that you can get from the AD that is an absolute winner from a resale point of view is the GMT Pepsi. The blue and the red bezel Pepsi. Having said that though, it was only recently that the new GMT was released, so the black and the grey split bezel, now known as the Bruce Wayne, and actually you could probably, I'd either say the Pepsi or the Bruce Wayne, but I think the Pepsi sways it for me just because it looks a bit better. I've not seen the Bruce Wayne yet, but the black and the grey, it's super discreet, it doesn't pop at all, and I think if I had both watches side by side, I would absolutely choose the Pepsi all day long. But for resale purposes, if you can get the Bruce Wayne, it's probably a little bit harder to get than the Pepsi at the moment. You're doing great. You're going to make a fair bit of money. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. So the steel watches is very easy, and that's kind of why I've limited it to 3 watches for steel sports Rolexes. But we do have sports Rolexes in precious metal also, and it's an interesting talking point at the moment, gold Rolex watches, because the price for them has increased by 3-4%. So that takes gold Rolex watches to a price point that I just think is way too high. I personally think Rolex have made not a bit of a mistake, quite a big mistake to increase the price once again for gold watches. Sky Dwellers that are now well into the 40s, over £40,000 for a gold Sky Dweller. It was already really difficult for ADs to sell gold watches before this price increase, and now it's going to be even more difficult because, you can talk about spend history, but are people going to be willing to lose £10,000-15,000 on a watch to get a Pepsi that might make them 5k? No. It's not going to happen. I think, if you lose a third of the value of the watch the instant you walk out the door, people are going to know this, and people aren't going to be buying gold watches. So for me, if I was working at Rolex, I'd rather sell more Rolex gold pieces at a lower price point than less at a higher price point, but that's just my point of view. The first gold watch I would say is a Daytona. It's on Oysterflex, and it's commonly known as the Pikachu Daytona. I'm pretty sure that's because of the yellow and the black on the dial, which looks kind of like Pikachu. All these Rolex nicknames are actually terrible, but we'll go with it. If it helps sell watches, we'll go with it, right? The reason why it's a good one, it's my number one choice, is because it does sell for a few £1,000s over retail. You will make money on this if you're able to get it. And also, because it's Oysterflex, it doesn't cost as much, so you don't have to front as much money with the AD. If it was a full gold bracelet, you'd have to put way more money in. This at the moment I think is just a little over £27,000, and you'll probably get a little bit over 30. So it's a good watch to get, and it actually does look really good. I've had a few of these in person this year already, and it does wear really, really nice. Really good summer watch, so would recommend buying it if you want to sell a watch or buying it just to wear it. The second gold watch is another Daytona, and again, it's on Oysterflex, and this one is known as the Ghost. This one is white gold, and I think like the Pikachu, it looks really, really good in person. It probably doesn't do too much on screen, on your phone when you look at it, but when you see this in person, it really does have a bit of an impact. So that's my second one. Now, what I will say about these two watches specifically is that it's the dial that is the important part of the watch. So when you ask your AD for these two watches, you have to be very, very clear that it is these exact dial specifications that you are looking for. There are others that are similar, but they do not fetch the amount that these two specific dials do. So when you show or tell your AD the watch that you want, make sure it is these exact dial combinations. Now, that is only if you are looking to resell or if you actually want these dials to wear and enjoy, but you have to be very, very careful, because I know a few people that have been caught out because the Pikachu kind of looks similar to others and the Ghost in the same way. So, and the third and final, to finish off with the gold watches, and I know this isn't considered a sports Rolex, but I want to include it anyway because I think it's a great watch, and it's a Day-Date 40. Not the rose gold olive, which you may have thought I would have said, or even the rose gold new smoky black grey dial. No, I want to talk about a yellow gold Day-Date 40, and it's either one of two dials. It's either the release from last year, I think it was, the flat green colour, or, to be honest, I'm going to go with this one as my final choice. The new ombre green for the yellow gold Day-Date 40. Now, this was a 2024 release. We have seen it on the 36mm Day-Dates in the past. Fantastic watch. So glad that Rolex have released the ombre green dial on the Day-Date 40. Guaranteed that this will be the most popular, one of the most popular releases from 2024, and I can imagine that a lot of people have put themselves down on the waiting list for this watch, and I guarantee that it will sell over retail. I haven't seen any yet on the market, but when it does get onto the market, when the first person sells it, it will 100% be trading way over retail. The seventh and final sports watch that you can get from your AD, and again, it's like, it is a sports watch, but because of the metal used, it's kind of not that sporty. If you wore this for any sort of sporting activity, it would hinder you quite considerably. My choice is the Platinum Daytona, and you can understand now why I say that, because it's an absolute brick of a watch, super heavy. But I have to include it because it's a very difficult watch to get, meaning it's super rare. ADs will only get a handful every year, maybe one or two, maybe more if it's a very good AD. But it's a very hard watch, and with that comes popularity, there's a desire for it, and with that comes an increased resale value. So there's a lot of money to be made on a watch that you buy like this. So I would say either the plain dial or the diamond baguette. Of the two, personally I prefer the diamond baguette option, but either one, the markup is pretty good. What can you guys be doing to ensure that you're in the running to get a watch like this? Well, spend a lot of money, buy a lot of watches, that goes hand in hand with spending money. Build a very long-term relationship over, I don't know, probably minimum 3 years, but ideally 5 to 10 years plus. And just be very likable. Make sure that you're very friendly and they like you, because if you can do all those things, not easy to do, but you're in with a good shout of getting this watch. If you think there was a watch that deserved to be on this list of the best 7, please do comment below. If you're interested to buy some watches, please do visit Watch Life website, Instagram, WhatsApp me. If you do want to sell a watch as well, please do get in touch. I'd be happy to chat. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.